Good morning, happy pot lovers. Today is Friday, June 6th, 2025, and we are here with the Kiln unload for Glaze load number 27, 28. I don't know. I'll put it in the title. Anyway, this is kind of a small load. It is a follow-up to the load I did earlier this week that I unloaded on Monday. And most of these are test glazes. I fire in a Paragon A88B with an extension ring on the top. This is a cone 6 oxidation electric firing. The kiln has a manual kiln sitter, so I have to manually flip switches and so on and so forth. Yes, my kiln is outside. I protect it when I'm not using it with a grill cover, and I can only fire when it's not raining. So let's get into it, and I will show you what I've got going on here. Let's see. This one, these are little olive oil plates, garlic plates. So a little texture impressed in there. This is the new Speedball variegated lapis. And the outside is Speedball's Midnight. And there was some overlap right here, which you could just barely see what it did there. I'll try to get better pictures in better lighting. All right, this one is same idea, and I don't know. I'm not sure what happened here. Another piece has the same kind of stuff on it. It almost looks like I have sanding dust on here, and I don't recall seeing that when I glazed it. Anyway, the glazes are the new Speedball blackened copper. I could like that in certain applications. And the inside is the new Speedball jasper. Good coverage, not a lot of interest. I'll have to try it in combination with some other things, and I'll have to sand off all these little specks and refire to get rid of the imperfections. All right. This one, I'm going to have to adjust the specific gravity of my rainforest glaze. This is Amico Rainforest, dipping and pouring. This was one quick dip, and it did catch on the shelf. It kind of ran down and pooled right there and caught on the shelf. I like what it does on the rim, and I have some orange peeling going on in here. So, yeah, I think the specific gravity is a little bit too thick. I did take a stiff brush and try to brush it into all of the texture. It didn't quite get in there as good as I wanted. So that's a refire. And this is Obsidian, Amico's Obsidian. And again, I have it in a dipping and pouring. That one came out okay, except I knocked some of the glaze off, apparently, when I was loading it in the kiln. I don't think that's crawling. So I don't know if I'll refire this. I may. We'll see. All right, so that's the top shelf. A little bit of shelf work to do. All right, so this piece was inspired by Sally Roper in Jamaica. And I want to say this is an African violet pot. It's a self-watering flower pot. You put water in there and you put a wick through the hole and it wicks the moisture up. The glazes used, this was a full dip in Coyote's Alabaster. I love this glaze. It is a satin matte and it just feels so nice. Then I did sea salt, Mako's sea salt down to here. On this one, I did alabaster up to here, I think. And I did sea salt from here to here. And then satin patina from here to here. And they did some really cool things where they overlapped. Look at that crystal formation and some pinks, some blues. I love satin patina anyway, and I did satin patina just down inside, and the rest of the inside is raw. That's why I did not dip this one. I'm tickled that they fit together nicely. I kind of like that form. I think that would be gorgeous with a nice big African violet in there. I will try that concept with other shapes. These are lids to travel mugs, and I don't recall the glazes. That's going to take some work because where it dripped on both of them is going to make it not fit. So probably could have used a little less glaze on there, or maybe not the combination, and then it would have been more stable. And those were just hanging on some kiln posts. I did not have a cone pack on the top shelf. This is the cone pack on the second shelf down. Got a cool 6. And for those of you that didn't see in my last 2 videos ago, I put kiln wash on these packs, and it helps the cones to not stick. It's not 100% foolproof. They do stick a little bit in some cases, but they're a lot easier to get out, and your cone packs will last a lot longer. Sadly, this one ran, and I don't know if I can save this cup, but this was, I like the combination. I was hoping that alabaster would stop the runs. All right, so this was alabaster dipped up to here, and then sea salt from here to here, 2 coats, and then midnight rain from here to here, and all over on the inside. And that would have been gorgeous had it not plucked like it did. I may be able to save it, but it's not sellable. I don't know if that went all the way through to the inside. Doesn't look like it did. Anyway, cute little cup, comfortable to hold. And I'm going to have to play with that combination some more. That sea salt and midnight rain is gorgeous together. And then this one also ran, of course. This is Coyote's rhubarb all over, and purple aster. So what I did was I did Coyote's rhubarb all over, and Mako's opal luster on the inside all over. Then I did purple aster on the rim, inside and out, and I did a heart in the center of running hot chowder. And it's kind of like a ghost heart. I kind of like that. I like the way the rhubarb played in the texture. I don't like the way it ran off the pot and ruined my pot. I do have 2 more advancer shelves on the way. If you can afford them, do yourself a favor and get you some. I had one of the crystals from the purple aster fall down in the bottom too. All right. Get this post out of here. Get the shelf out. That's some serious shelf work I've got going on there. Yeah, buddy. Okay. I see one mishap. Obviously, that was a low fire stilt, which is okay because this lid was probably a waste anyway. The handle had broken off of it, so that's trash. Oh well. Such is the life in the pottery world. This shelf got a little bit hotter. There's my 5, which had the tip broken, and my 6 and my 7. So the 6 is almost all the way down. And I'll have to pry that out of there. Okay. This, again with the specs. I don't know what's going on here. I don't have a kiln shelf upside down. I'm going to have to sieve this glaze, I guess. This is, well, it's actually got like stuff in it. I don't know. I'll vacuum out the kiln and everything. So the line you see, this was double dipped. So I dipped it in this way, and then I dipped it in this way. And this is Ceramic Shop, Violet. And so where it's thin, it's kind of blue. Does show the texture well, breaks white over texture or light blue. You know, I wonder if that is from I put sodium silicate, alumina hydrate in my wax so that they don't pluck on the advancer shells. And I wonder if I had some extra alumina hydrate floating around in the kiln that's doing that. I don't know. I don't think I had any on my hands. Let's see. Oh, this one came out cool. That came out really cool. That has the violet on the inside, alabaster here. Then it was violet down to there with pearl white over it. So the pearl white kind of washes out the violet, and then when they meet, it does. I don't know if you can see that hare's foot in there. They do some pretty cool stuff there. All right. And let's see. We'll do this one next since that's the one I have on top. So this was, outside was teal agate. And that's a cool glaze. I like that. And then above it was cactus ash, which again has kind of a cool effect. Can you see that? And that is one coat of teal agate over my signature in here. And you could just barely see where I signed it. And then the inside is the new Mako Green Jasper. That's SW222. And I did 2 good coats on that. And that gave a nice finish. I think I would like this better with a fluxy glaze so it moves a little bit, but that's kind of cool. I can see it both ways depending on what you're doing. But I like that teal agate. It's got some crystallization going on there. Can you see right in there where it's got that kind of frosty crystallization? Yeah. I might order a bigger thing of that. All right. And the last one on this shelf, this was frosted lemon inside and out. And then Aurora green down to here. And the frosted lemon makes the Aurora green move. And then on the inside, it was textured kiwi fruit, about the same distance down. And I'm getting some pinks out of that frosted lemon in there. So I don't know if it's from a reaction with the other glazes. I don't usually get that with frosted lemon. And then I did a little kind of fancy foot on the bottom. But yeah, that textured kiwi over the frosted lemon is doing some cool stuff. I don't know if you can see down in there to see the effects. But I do like the Aurora green over the frosted lemon. I'm not a huge fan of Aurora green on its own. I know some people really love it. It just doesn't strike me. It's not my cup of tea. And I hear a train coming, so I'm going to have to mute you pretty soon. Let me get the shelf out. Okay, now that the train is gone. And by the way, let me know if you like this new camera angle. Just trying something different with the camera to get better pictures for you guys. This was a refire. I wasn't happy with how it turned out the first time. This was the Birch Cordovan and dark flux and light flux. I put 2 more good coats of the Cordovan over it. I should have put some flux as well. I don't know if I'll fire it a 3rd time. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of ugly. Kind of cool in some ways, but kind of ugly also. I like where it did its thing with the flux. I might give it a coat of dark flux just over the Cordovan and fire it 1 more time on the advancer shelf because it'll probably run off the pot. This was also a birch and Cordovan little mushroom mug. It kind of suits the mushroom theme. And then I put squiggles of dark flux with light flux over it. And that gave that kind of movement. And I'll put a picture on the screen of the pre-firing. So, and it also had Coyote's Red Gold, Jungle Gems, Assorted, and Canary Yellow inside the little windows there. Not my best work. And then inside is just birch. All right. Let's see. Okay, these turned out kind of cool, I think. So this is a set, 2 mugs, and they are Mako's Dark Flux on the rim. And in the future, I'll probably just do a real light dip of obsidian on the rim. And then it was dipped in obsidian up to here, and then dipped in power turquoise down to here, and power turquoise poured on the inside. So I kind of like what the dark flux did with the power turquoise. I love the power turquoise over the obsidian. That's something I will, it's catching the sunlight there. I don't know if you can see that. That's something I will play with again. And then this is the other one. This one didn't get quite as much, but boy, when the light hits it, that power turquoise on that obsidian really lights up. It's almost neon. Can you see that? I don't know if the glare, I will take better pictures. Look around that handle, where it ran around that handle. Uh-oh, I had a little tiny bit of crawling right there. I might have to refire that one. That's a shame. But I don't see any pinholes. Okay. That is definitely a combo for the future. All right. And then I have a bubble mug. This one is textured kiwi fruit with pearl white. 1 coat, 2 coats textured kiwi fruit all over. And then 1 coat of pearl white down to about here. And that did some cool stuff. Same on the inside. Bottom is plain. And I, by the way, I do my maker's mark with the black engobe. Works pretty well for that. I need to make a stamp that I can dip in the engobe and stamp on there. Yeah, the inside. Yeah, the bottom looks like it has a couple of not pinholes, little orange peeling, but it's just the way that the glaze pooled. The texture is fine, so nice finish. I'm liking that one. And then the last piece, well, let's get our cones out real quick. The bottom fired to probably a 5.5. I did not put a 5 in that. I have a 6 and a 7. All right. And this is the last piece. And this was a follow-up test on something I did earlier. That is rainforest, a light dip in rainforest on there. And it turned out much better where I did it light. So, and then rainforest was all the way up. And then pearl white down to where the chattering started. So about that far. Actually, it wasn't all the way down. So it was about the top inch. And then the inside was all pearl white, brushed 2.5, 3 coats, 2 generous coats, and then rainforest over the pearl white. And I love what rainforest over pearl white does. I really love what rainforest over pearl white does. Let me see if I can get the light on that where you can see it. See if I turn the camera a little bit. There we go. If you can see inside of that rim. Oh my goodness. Look at what it did on the spout. It just really does kind of a, I don't know, spider webby. And it pulls the glaze down inside very nicely. That's a good shot. There you can see it. Yeah, so I'll be doing more of that rainforest over pearl white. Not as happy with the pearl white over the rainforest, although it does give some interesting colors. It pulls the rainforest down. But underneath, it does some magical stuff. So, okay, guys, picture that is it for this kiln load. I have to edit this, and I will put close-up pictures of all of these at the end. I will put all of the glazes that I used with the numbers on them on the screen for you so you can write them down. And I hope you enjoy your day. Keep challenging yourself. That's how we learn. Don't be afraid to mess up because we learn from our failures a lot more than we learn from our successes. So, that's how we make advancements is push past our limits and create new thresholds. So just keep on doing that and keep chasing your dreams. And you guys stay centered and have a wonderful day wherever you are.